We are back. Good to be back live. Well, multiple convoys are headed to D.C. to confront Joe Biden and all of our political leaders about the unnecessary mandates whose constitutionality is quite questionable. So a lot of people going to D.C., multiple different convoys, different grassroots groups organizing. I've talked to people from the various groups. Some of the groups don't trust each other. So we're going to get into what's going on with the U.S. convoys. I know it's been confusing for a lot of people, including myself, to keep up with what's really planned for these convoys. But D.C. officials are taking it seriously enough that they are reinstalling the fencing that they put up around the Capitol following January 6th of last year. Also, it appears the National Guard is getting prepped just in case something goes down in D.C. surrounding the period of Joe Biden's State of the Union address, March 1st. But in the coming days this week, these convoys are allegedly scheduled to launch. So we'll be watching that closely. Also want to update you guys on Canada. Canada finally, Justin Trudeau and his administration have been working hard to try to stop these freedom fighters. And he was, it appears, successful finally in crushing people who want to return to the freedoms they used to have in 2019. Many arrests, around 200 arrests over the weekend, tear gas deployed. I know there's video of an independent journalist who was attacked by police, assaulted by police. Meanwhile, state-funded media were free to go through. So we're going to get into all of that, and not to mention the bank accounts that are being locked down by the Canadian dictatorship, as what it is right now. Maybe the dictators will stop being dictators, but right now it's a dictatorship. And people who've donated as little as $50 are having their bank accounts seized by the government, as if to GoFundMe and GiveSendGo are a terrorist operation. So we're going to get into all of that. And before we do, I got to shout out the sponsor of my coverage, which is Glow with Ivory, featuring Ageless Glow Skin Rejuvenating Serum. It's an amazing new face serum that's changed the lives of a lot of people looking to improve the aging of their skin. Within no time, it helps reduce the appearance of fine lines, return skin to its normal elasticity, and give you a more youthful glow. My skin is much more vibrant now and is tighter, firmer, and smoother than I've seen in years. If you've been struggling with visible signs of aging and can't seem to get the help you need, then I highly recommend Ageless Glow Skin Rejuvenating Serum. They have great natural ingredients as well. Smells amazing and natural. I highly recommend Glow with Ivory, also known as Age with Ivory. Get it today for up to 38% off for a limited time by going to glowwithivory.com. Link down below, glowwithivory.com. Get that discount and get looking great again. All right, with that being said, let's get into what is... Ooh, we're getting some feedback. Okay, so let's get into Fox 5 DC covering DC bracing for the imminent deployment of American grassroots groups who want their country to be back the way it used to be. Here is Fox 5 DC covering the reinstallation of that January 6th fence.
Potential threat of that truck convoy protest comes as Congress is getting ready to host President Biden for the State of the Union address March 1st.
As part of ramped up security, the fencing that surrounded the Capitol complex for much of 2021 is expected to be reinstalled. Fox 5's Bob Barnard is live in Southwest with more on this. Bob, good morning.
Hey, Jeanette, Steve, good morning to you. Yes, we're at the corner of 3rd Street and Maryland Avenue, and there are a couple of trucks here blocking the entrance to the West Capitol of the west front of the Capitol. Can show you what we've seen as you go around. The only real extra security presence here now are these trucks blocking not only Maryland Avenue, but Pennsylvania Avenue at 3rd Street, heading toward the west front of the U.S. Capitol. I've circled the complex. No fencing going up just yet, but we are told that is what is expected at some point later this week. The fencing, like we saw right after the riots a year ago. U.S. Capitol Police say they're working with Secret Service and also D.C. Police to set up some kind of a security perimeter ahead of next Tuesday's State of the Union address. And again, as Melanie mentioned, there's also the concern of truckers coming into downtown D.C. and trying to disrupt daily life. But the fencing hasn't gone up yet this time. Again, sometime later this week, these trucks here are now, we don't know of any particular threat that's being made or anything to the State of the Union, except again for perhaps some truckers convoys coming into downtown. And we're being told, Fox News is being told that fencing should be going up in the coming days. Again,
there you go. So anyway, Secret Service deployed, fencing going up around the Capitol, allegedly, according to Fox News sources. So we'll see what happens as the Biden admin anxiously awaits to see what these freedom lovers want to do with their long convoy across the country. DC, according to militarytimes.com right here, DC National Guard has been asked to provide support for upcoming trucker protest, with an organizer of a trucker needle mandate protest threatening to shut down traffic around the Capital Region. The DC National Guard is alerting troops to be ready to activate in response. With the statement here from the DC National Guard, the District of Columbia National Guard is aware of a request for assistance sent to the Department of Defense by the District of Columbia Homeland Security and Emergency Management Agency. So there's been a request, I guess, from Homeland Security for National Guard to stay tuned in case they need to deploy people to fight back these truckers and other people in their vehicles who are going to be making their trek across the country. I want to play for you a statement made by one of the convoy organizers. Again, there's multiple organizers here, and I feature them, two of the main ones, on my YouTube. It was the Peoples Convoy that initially got big coverage from Fox News and Newsmax. They had some of the truckers on. Those truckers partnered with Lee Dundas, the human rights attorney who's been very much against these mandates throughout the pandemic. She seems very sincere, like a real American freedom fighter, as do the truckers. Now, the other convoy, it's the Freedom Convoy USA 2022. It's a separate convoy. Now, they tell me they seem extremely sincere themselves as well. All these people seem to be wanting to go to the Capitol to confront Biden just because they want our country back to how it was in 2019. Very simple. Just give us back our freedoms and roll back all of these mandates, mask mandates, needle mandates, mandates to tell businesses who and who can't go in and out of your business. Get rid of all of it. Okay. So all these people seem to have that motive, yet they're not seeming to fully trust each other. Freedom Convoy USA 2022 says that they told me today that they think that People's Convoy has been infiltrated by someone with bad intentions. I don't know, but Freedom Convoy is planning to leave from California on the 25th of February. People's Convoy is planning to depart on the 23rd, this coming Wednesday. Let me play for you a soundbite from one of the organizers of the Freedom Convoy departing later on the 25th. Hear from this guy yourselves. Here we go.
This message is for the President of the United States of America. My name is Kyle Sepchik of the Freedom Convoy USA 2022, and our routes meet here in DC on March 1st in time for your State of the Union address. We are very organized, and our routes are public. I even pulled a permit for the National Mall to be respectful. I just want to be as transparent as possible from the start so there's no confusion. We are coming peacefully, and we're going to do this lawfully and constitutionally. I want the rest of the world to know our plans so that there's no twisting and lying about who and what we are. I'm coming to you as a father, a small business owner who's unaffiliated to any parties. We just want government overreach to end. On behalf of Freedom Convoy USA 2022, we are asking you to end the state of emergency, end the mandates once and for all. Sir, the world is watching us because they know that if what's happening in Canada happens to us here in the land of the free, then freedom as we know it is gone. So we are leaving the choice to you. The decision is in your hands. This whole convoy, this whole assembly on the National Mall, it doesn't even have to happen if you just end things now and we can get on with our lives. To you other convoys that plan on meeting us here, we look forward to seeing you and joining with you. We're going to do this right. We're going to do this honorably. Mr. President, we have no other motives in this mission. You see, the government, our elected officials of both parties have failed us tremendously these last 2 years. And now it's time for us, we, the people, to fix this, to end this. We're ready to get back to our lives, the ones promised and guaranteed in the United States Constitution, Bill of Rights, and the contract that you signed and swore an oath to under the one true God. This is simple. End this.
Freedom Convoy USA 2022. That is also the name of their Instagram. So this organizer, he's saying he's aware that there's other convoys, independent convoys being planned, and he's happy to collab with them, but there are going to stay separate convoys because these people are confident in their values and they feel they know they're not being infiltrated. So here's the Instagram of these guys if you want to follow it. I actually linked it down below, and it's got the various routes where people across the country can join in on the convoy. They are planning to depart the 25th of this month and depart from California, I guess. So people who want to join further inland can join in the coming days after that. And then they want to arrive in DC, according to this post, on March 1st. So confront Biden on the day of his State of the Union address. I wanted to show you guys the Peoples Convoy. Again, those were the original truckers who got their big page shut down by Facebook and then were featured on Fox News and Newsmax. The other convoy says they're not sure how, sincere everyone in this group is. But this group, I also linked their press release, their website down below, the People's Convoy. They've got Dr. Pierre Corey speaking, I guess, at the kickoff of this convoy on February 23rd. Pierre Corey is the most legit doc. I mean, he is 100%. He's about saving people from this illness in the ways that are available, which the FDA says are not. Dr. Pierre Corey is an enemy of the FDA at this point. He's a great guy, and the fact that these guys are having him speak there speaks volumes about them, because the establishment does not like Dr. Pierre Corey. I'm actually not going to bring this page up on. I shouldn't have that other page up. That'll confuse you. Previous page I just took down was the Freedom Convoy 2022, which is leaving 25th. Now I was just referring to Dr. Pierre Corey speaking to the People's Convoy, which departs the 23rd, this coming Wednesday. I talked to another man who's going to be a part of that convoy. Talked to him today. His name is Josh Yoder. He's a pilot who took a stand and said, I do not believe in pilots being mandated to get this needle. He's going to be a part of the group departing from California on Wednesday. Again, I've linked this information down below if you guys want to see the plan of where all their stops along the way are going to be. Okay, this part of the page I can bring up. It doesn't have trigger words that the YouTube bots are going to grab. So let me bring up this page of the People's Convoy plan. You can see here they're departing February 23rd. Stops along the way for people who want to join in. And they're actually not planning to get to DC until the March 5th. according to this one. So these people do not want to be arriving when Biden's speaking. Some of the other convoy organizers think that that is asking for trouble, that our federal government is going to feel too threatened and come after you if you show up in DC on State of the Union Day. You know, so there's a lot of people who are extremely leery nowadays, ever since January 6th, the way that the feds came after innocent people. Granted, there were people who did get violent in little face-offs with the police, did damage property, things like that on January 6th. But there were other innocent people who didn't do any of that and are rotting in jail right now. So it's scared a lot of people who saw just how much our federal government and the FBI is willing to lock up an innocent person who was in the same vicinity of something that was called an insurrection, even though no one's been charged with insurrection. So with this convoy now, people are just immensely more leery. And looks like this group is saying, let's just get to DC after Biden does this little speech. The other group wants to hit it head on and get there on March 1st. I have linked both down below. This video is just to inform you guys I'm not a part of organizing any of this. I'm just a part of telling you guys what's up, trying to connect the dots for those who want to know what's going on with the American version of what Canada has pulled off. Now, Canada inspired a lot of people, and we're going to get to what happened and what the latest is out of Canada. But I want to show you this post from Lara Logan on Getter as well. So Lara it appears she's reposting what she's not organizing either. She's just a journalist, but she's reposting what the People's Convoy had planned as well as far as their route there. You can see cross-continental convoy to confront our lovely leaders in DC. So let me know if you guys are going to join this convoy or what your strategy is. And I want to show you guys what's going on in DC, and I'll get to the comment section at the very end of this. Do a little Q&A with you guys at the end. So in Canada, CNN reporting Canada looks to end the protests with tougher financial measures after another weekend of arrests. So according to CNN, around 200 arrests in the nation's capital as authorities moved in to end the weeks-long demonstration, towing vehicles and going after protesters' pocketbooks with financial penalties. You can see a dilapidated tent there and a semi-truck being towed away as the Canadian tyrants finally moved in to regain control of the vicinity of their Capitol building after it remained under siege for 3 weeks. Protesters hit with financial penalties as funding sources investigated. So the Royal Canadian Mounted Police Commissioner of Federal Policing told Sunday's news conference the Emergencies Act had helped with the police operations, according to CNN. Quote, provisions of this Emergencies Act have allowed us to maintain the perimeter, restrict travel, and ensure that we can continue to choke off financial support and other assistance to protesters. Yes, the police is trying to choke off you giving a few bucks to your friend who is bold enough to get out there and peacefully stand outside and say, I'm not okay with the government stripping away my freedom to choose. Police are choking off people giving money to each other. Canadian authorities on Sunday froze the finances associated with certain individuals and companies believed to be involved in the protest, he said. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police froze 206 financial products, including bank and corporate accounts, disclosed the information of 56 entities associated with vehicles, individuals, and companies, shared 253 Bitcoin addresses with virtual currency exchangers, and froze a payment processing account valued at $3.8 million. Quote, we continue to work at collecting relevant information on persons, vehicles, and companies, and remain in daily communication with the financial institutions to assist them. Got to show you Gateway Pundit's coverage of just how much they are willing to go after this terrorist funding. I mean, look at this terrorist mom. We have a mom here. She was terroristic in giving $50, and for that, her bank account is being shut down. Canadian Prime Minister says single mom's bank account frozen for donating $50 to Freedom Convoy. Of course, I'm joking in calling this terrorism, throwing a jab at Justin Trudeau, who is really acting like we're dealing with some sort of Middle Eastern terrorist group, the way that he's been addressing this, and the way he's been dispatching his law enforcement to treating these people. It's as if they are very nefarious group. Trudeau definitely thinks this Canadian single mom would be a part of that very nefarious group. Her bank account was frozen for donating $50 to the Freedom Convoy. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau last week invoked emergency orders to break up the truckers' Freedom Convoy. So, they're going after a lot of these people. Now, they want to go after foreign interference, which is the Americans who are like, oh, cool, Canadians are standing up for their rights. We love that. Here's $50. So Trudeau has got his sights set on the Americans who did that. Like, how dare you? So here's the thing. Trudeau's administration moved in aggressively with the help of the Emergencies Act, and was able to regain ground and take back. I mean, it was a little civil war zone, honestly. Mainly, the protesters just trying to be peaceful, but the Canadian officials were treating it like a little civil war battle zone where they needed to use force in order to geographically move in and take over what the people had occupied. And I guess they did that successfully, establishing a police perimeter and arresting anyone who crossed that perimeter, and then towing away the trucks. You see National Post reporting the end of a weeks-long protest. Saturday, 47 people arrested, and then more people were arrested on Sunday. I was going to show you some Justin Trudeau sound. I want you guys to hear directly from Justin Trudeau speaking today about this whole issue. Let's see what Justin Trudeau has been thinking. Here's Trudeau talking.
We didn't want to use the Emergencies Act. It's never something to turn to without serious consideration. But after weeks of dangerous and unlawful activities, after weeks of people being harassed in their neighborhoods and small businesses forced to close, after billions of dollars were stalled in trade, putting people's jobs and livelihoods at risk, after the National War Memorial was desecrated, after evidence of increased ideologically motivated violent extremism activity across the country, after a flood of misinformation and disinformation washed over Canada, including from foreign sources, after these illegal blockades and occupations received disturbing amounts of foreign funding to destabilize Canada's democracy, it became clear that local and provincial authorities needed more tools to restore order and keep people safe. For the past few days, Parliamentarians have been debating the Emergencies Act and will be voting on it tonight. I ask all members of Parliament to take action against illegal blockades and to stand up for public safety and for the freedom of Canadians. Invoking the Emergencies Act has been necessary. Law enforcement agencies relied on it to set up secured areas in downtown Ottawa and at border crossings. It prevented foreign money from continuing to fund illegal blockades, and it's making sure our borders remain open. It has been the responsible thing to do. We now have a choice to make as a society. We can choose to keep reliving these scenes that tear at the values that bind us as Canadians, or we can choose to remember who we are and the best vision of what Canada can be. What we've seen in these past weeks is not the story of this pandemic. The story of this pandemic is one of unity and solidarity. La pandémie, c'est l'histoire des
There you go. You should just unify with whatever Trudeau says, and if you disagree at all and invoke your right to a peaceful protest, then this is what he does. He actually dispatches the police and the tear gas, the horses running over people. You guys probably saw that. And if you're independent press, it's a dangerous time for you. I have coverage here of Ottawa police block independent press from filming inside perimeter. Police prevented Alexa Lavoie, if I'm pronouncing that right, from entering inside the perimeter to film, but granted exceptions to state-funded reporters. This is out of Rebel News reporting this. Rebel News is kind of like the one outlet that's not in lockstep, and for that Trudeau absolutely despises them. Getting a call right now. Okay, so here we go. Rebel News. Here's what happened to one of the Rebel News reporters, Alexa, when she tried to, I guess, follow where state-funded media was allowed, but not so fast, not her. Trudeau's police took action against this independent journalist.
Bring her out. Come on. Bring it down there. Bring it to the left.
Oh, shit.
Mike, take her out of the crowd. Bring her to the left.
Oh,
Hey, someone got shot in the head.
oh, shit. Oh.
Bring her to the left here. Safe. Come on, man. Get her out of the crowd. Take her down further. Get her down. Get her out of the crowd.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's extremely upsetting to watch. Being a reporter who's been out in the field myself, she clearly has a microphone in hand. She's clearly there to just show the public what's happening, and yet she is being violently shut down. She's being assaulted by police for trying to inform the public about what is happening in their country. So that is a horrifying, step that police are taking right there. I mean, just the violence of police against protesters in their effort to clear the streets around Parliament is horrifying as well. But when they're going to be violent against someone who's there to inform the public, she's not a protester. She's there to inform the public, and police don't want her to inform the public because they know what her little lanyard there says rebel. So they know she's a part of rebel news, and they know that rebel news shines lights in the shadowy areas where the corporate news doesn't show. And I don't know if it's state funded media there in Canada. I don't know which outlets in Canada are state funded, but I've been watching some of the Canadian news in the past few weeks since this all started, and it's clear, even watching press conferences and the way that the reporters, even the questions the reporters ask, they're leading questions that are on the side of the government, saying, how do we stop these crazy people, basically, are the sorts of questions they're asking. No questions that are on the side of people who love freedom to choose. So I'm hearing from Canadians that all of their press is compromised, whacked out, and only on the side of the government. And this is the one outlet that's not. And so because police know that this is an outlet that actually covers what other outlets like to pretend isn't happening, and actually show the people on the ground, they want to show what's really going on, and the police are stopping them. And that's when the police are directly stopping a free press, that's when you're in really horrifying territory. Okay. So that's kind of what I wanted to tackle. There's much more I wanted to show you guys, but I'm trying to keep these videos shorter because my videos have been going so long. There's just so much to get to, and I know you guys like shorter videos. But I want to show you this person here real quick to wrap this up now. Now, one of the convoy organizers was just talking to me about some of the convoy people here. Now, this person formerly worked for the Obama campaign, but is now a part of the Canadian convoy. And some people are speculating that Dagny is an infiltrator who doesn't actually care about freedom, but is maybe helping compromise things. But guys, I've seen a crazy amount of people change their minds politically in these past 2 years. I mean, some of the hardest core leftists have actually turned into right-wingers during the past 2 years. It's been stunning to see. So, and I think a lot of people are very suspicious of each other unnecessarily right now. Ever since January 6th, it's like nobody trusts each other. But like, I mean, you should be aware that someone might be out to get you, but be aware that countless people are genuinely getting fed up with the government jumping into their lives. And so to say that Dagny is an infiltrator, I'm not willing to go there. This person is clearly saying, I used to work for Obama, but now I want to fight for Canadian freedom. And some of the media does quote this person as a spokesperson for the Canadian convoy. I don't know the whole situation enough to say whether or not any of these people are infiltrators who have malicious intentions. Bottom line is that Trudeau, he handled it himself, regardless of little grassroots people like Dagny or whatever. Trudeau got some cops in there and violently shut people down. And we'll have to see if Canadians decide to go back out there next weekend. But I mean, police were pretty vicious, and there's a lot of people in jail right now, and there's injured people. There's a lot of people who got pepper sprayed and things like that, and had traumatic situations. So police sent a message that they mean business. And here's the thing with these tyrants: they're not going to just roll over and say, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that you'd like us slowly taking your freedoms away. You're going to resist. Well, we're going to push back." You better believe that if you want to stand up for your freedoms and shrink government, the government will resist you, because the government loves to be large, and the government never likes to give back what it takes. So for the Americans going to DC, for the Canadians who've dealt with what they've dealt with, like, you better realize that when you try to take a stand, there will be resistance, and you just have to be willing. That's why we celebrate the revolutionaries who established the United States of America. They sacrificed a lot. Many of them died to found this great nation. And same goes with the Civil War. Some of the first Northerners who said, we are not okay with slavery, even taking a stand in the North, was a lot of sacrifice had to be made. And it was clear that the people who were pro-slavery were willing to kill to preserve the slavery. And it came, some of these white people in the North realized when they saw bloodshed from the opposition that the pro-slavery people were willing to kill it. Then these white people who hated slavery in the North realized that in order to get rid of slavery throughout this country, that it was going to take bloodshed from both, just across the board. That if the bad guys were willing to shed blood, then the good guys had to be willing to shed blood. Otherwise, they were going to get trampled over. That's literally just part of the story of the Civil War. Hopefully there's not bloodshed in 2022, but it's tough sometimes to take back your freedoms from a tyrant. Tyrants don't like to just hand back freedoms. Okay, I've already gone too long again. I want to get to your guys' comments real quick. I love peace. I hate bloodshed. So hopefully we can just have a peaceful resolution. Look, we already saw the UK rolling back restrictions like crazy. A lot of the countries across the world are, including certain states in the United States, are rolling back a lot of their restrictions. So maybe we can resolve all of this peacefully. That would be so wonderful. We'll see how this convoy goes, the multiple convoys. Okay, thank you for the super chats. We got a Canadian donation. Hey, AT, you said keep up the great work, Ivory. Thank you so much. That means a lot. Also, 200 watt studio. Happy birthday, Ivory. Thank you so much, 200 watt. I appreciate it. I did just have my birthday. I turned 33. I wasn't going to say my age, but I turned 33 on February 16th. And last weekend, I went to Miami for a little birthday weekend to kind of remember to enjoy life. Through this chaos, it's important to still enjoy life, still feel positive energy. I know it can be hard sometimes. So I wanted to go to the beach and remember that life is still sweet. Okay. Thank you to Thomas for the super chat. Sorry, my $2 is only worth $1.85 thanks to Brandon. Inflation sucks, doesn't it? Inflation really sucks. But even the inflation is red pilling people right and left. I was shocked at I'm friends from people of every party. And it's just been fascinating to see my leftist friends who I never thought that they would ever think about switching parties or anything. And these people are getting red pilled. Like, this is a very interesting time in history. Some of the biggest MSNBC lovers are changing their minds right now. Fascinating times. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to shut this one down for now, and we'll see you back here very soon. All the best, guys. May freedom win.